Thank you, Mayor. Colleagues, I just want to take a few moments and relay my strong support of the Houston Housing Finance Corporation's partnership program, this resolution that's on the agenda for vote today. This is an opportunity that provides families with housing pathways, permanent pathways through home ownership. They were in the, they attended the November Housing Committee meeting, a representative, the executive from the TDCHA and the executive director of the Houston Finance Corporation visited to talk about the program and explain that they're willing to invest $1 million in marketing to promote this program for hardworking Houstonians, such as our staff aides to purchase homes and other municipal employees. This issues a nearly $1 billion in bond annually and allows Houston to keep this money in our city for home ownership, which they can have below market mortgage loans, mortgage credit certificates, and additional down payment assistance in addition to what we're already doing with the city's housing department. So this is an exciting item, and just congratulations to the housing department for getting this on the agenda expeditiously, and then also the Houston Finance Corporation for expanding their tool bank. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just need a vote.
All in favor say yes. Those opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor and colleagues. I join my colleagues in the excitement of this. I see Bill Kelly in the audience, who was harassing us, making sure that we had these letters of support attached to the federal grant. And so this is a long time coming. And I think this is also an example of public services, that no matter where it's initiated, we all have a responsibility to pass the baton. And although this project should be completed by 2028, the next iteration of investment on Bissonnet will continue after our terms conclude. And so from the far west side all the way to the southwest side, Bissonnet will be transformed, which is so critically important because Bissonnet has had a narrative for so long, right? Prostitution, human trafficking, you name it, crime. And slowly but surely, in measurable ways, we can see that transformation, not just from public safety, but also investment in public infrastructure. I do want to highlight that at Bissonnet in Kirkwood, not only are we investing in safety with this project, but at Bissonnet in Kirkwood, the old Dottie landfill, what was known as Sugar Hill Golf Course, has been acquired 140 acres to be reimagined with commercial and residential development. So at that corridor, we're adding housing, green space, detention, adding infrastructure. TERS 20 expanded their boundaries to make sure that they could support the infrastructure improvements, the drainage improvements along Bissonnet for this very reason. So this is just another example of how all of us are working together, colleagues, government relations, federal partners, local entities, to make sure that residents, no matter if they're riding a bike, driving in their car, or walking, getting off the Metro bus, that they can get safely home. And I will just say, when I had a PSA that I posted announcing the council action today, and there was a pedestrian and an older gentleman who he was moving at the maximum speed, but his mobility was very limited. And the lights, the intersection wasn't even working. You couldn't, you know, we didn't know when to walk across the street. Monique on my team had to dart across Bissonnet and almost was hit, because that's just the gamble that people have to pay at those intersections. So with these funds, the sidewalks, the turning lanes, the lighting, all of that, it'll transform. And so hopefully we don't have to stay at this horseshoe and talk about another hit and run death, but we could talk about how people are increasing mobility at those intersections because of this project. It's a great day on the west side. It's a great day in the city of Houston. Thank you, colleagues, for your support.
Just need a vote.
Mayor, thank you for bringing the update that we're going to hire private contractors that are going to start out on the southwest side. I appreciate that. I just want to bump up to residents. We've escalated over 400 cases by subdivision to solid waste regarding delays, but I really want to speak to our HOAs. During this time, please do not issue citations to homeowners that have heavy trash outside of their doors. Yes, this is an issue, and we have received inquiries from residents asking for assistance. This is to no fault of their own. So please allow the city department, solid waste, the courtesy and the time to self-correct, remove the heavy waste. Because as the heavy waste accumulates, also illegal dumping and construction waste has now accumulated at those sites. So we're asking you to just pause on that. This is not their fault, and allow us to self-correct and cure that so we can get back on schedule. So that's number one. And if there's formal communication, additional formal communication that needs to come from our office, we will do so. We shared this in the newsletter on Friday. Number two, I want to highlight some environmental issues that were shared in Friday's newsletter in District F. I want to first thank the Houston Public Works Water Department. Since day one, they routinely issue water reports on chromium-6 in District F. We have, that has been a known issue over decades, and we have consistently shared those reports. I will have to host a community meeting and come back to you about the issues of chromium-6 and how that's fluctuating within our zip codes, but we have worked on this for years together, and so look forward for an update on that. But the report's in the newsletter, and it's also on our District F microsite with the city, so you can look at that report and see how the levels have changed within your zip code. Number two, I want to highlight that we are one step closer to installing air quality monitors in District F off of West Park and Willcrest. We have a concrete batch plan, and a lot of attention is, typically given to the north side or the east end around, environmental concerns, but we have them on the west side as well. My office has sponsored 3 air quality monitors with the Houston Health Department. We're working to install them at various various intersections, Judson Robinson, West Chase Library on Willcrest in West Park, and Harwin in Willcrest, and we'll provide you routine updates around the quality of your air. I mentioned earlier on the Bissonnet Safe Streets project about Bissonnet and Kirkwood, and talked about the old Dottie Landfill and Sugar Hill Golf Course. There have been extensive TCEQ regulations and improvements and requirements on that property to cure so we can move forward on commercial and residential development. I'm having a briefing with the developer and the attorney in a couple of weeks. Look forward to providing some updates on that 140-acre development site, because I believe that we have an obligation to reimagine locations where we were not good neighbors. We can fix it and then offer that that property back to community that will serve a purpose. So I want to highlight those environmental issues and topics that we're working on the west side, and I'll need your participation with community input and surveys in the future. I also mentioned last week and in the newsletter dangerous buildings that are scheduled for demolition. We have 6 in District F that are in the queue, from legal status all the way to abatement prep in terms of removing those structures. I do believe that there is a backlog list, and we are working in my office with City Legal and Public Works and the Department of Neighborhoods to identify the dangerous buildings that are in the queue that have not yet been assessed, so we can provide accurate information so we can continue to remove blight in your neighborhood. I also want to close with on Friday, we've been talking a lot about homelessness, and on Friday, December 5th, I'm hosting a small roundtable with community stakeholders on the west side so we can co-create our response to homelessness, so when we can be prepared for an opportunity when it's time for us to have some type of front door facility to welcome those who are unhoused, so we can get them processed either for housing or mental support or workforce readiness. And so I look forward to coming back to you with our co-created plan, and I know I was in support of 419 emancipation, with the idea and the intent that when it's time for the west side to address our homeless encampments, the 8 to 10 that are identified, we'll be able to move with community engagement built in on the front end. So I want to come back with some priorities around that, and where we can have community and mayor and department and colleagues, hopefully can have your support. So as we're looking for expanding these front doors throughout the city of Houston, the west side will be included in that. If my office can be of any support or additional resource, please don't hesitate to reach out at districtf@houstontx.gov. Thank you.